What is up, everybody? What is up? This is the first time live streaming to both YouTube and YouTube Shorts, so we're gonna see how the computer likes that. It could be a struggle bus, but we'll see. I'm gonna turn this music down some. Give it a few minutes, let people filter in. What's up? How's everybody doing? What's up, Nadine? I also got to figure out it's a wicked pain. Like the way YouTube does it right now, I actually have to have two streams simultaneous. And so I have to have two chats up at the same time. And so I don't know what chat goes to what, but can everybody hear me good? What are you up to? This channel is basically all about, I would say, positive masculinity, men's health, you know, stuff like that. Motivational stuff. Usually, yeah. I don't know how yet. But you know, usually I'll admit I have more energy usually, but I am kind of fighting a cold right now, so we'll see. So we got two topics that I want to talk to you all about tonight. So usually the way that the stream goes, the way that the kind of the format goes is we kind of shoot the shit for a little bit here in the beginning, and then I have two main topics that I want to discuss in the actual video. This one, the first topic is about manifesting and my take on manifesting, right? The vision boards and all that stuff. And then the second topic, I called it, what I call it? Who took the mic? Who took the mic? I think is what I called it. But it's basically like, yeah, we're listening to the wrong people these days. So, you know, culturally, society wise, we're listening to the wrong people. So that'll be what that segment's about. But in the beginning, we're just hanging out, we're chatting and, you know, seeing how everybody's night's going. Tweaking some settings here because I'm definitely still new to this, and then I'll let you know when we get into the segment. So one of the things that I do is when I get to the segment where I'm talking about whatever the topics are for the night, I end up using that as a YouTube video. So like I'll have an intro for it, and then I'll do it, and I'll like, you know, say thanks for subscribing and all that stuff. So it could be a little bit weird if you're just watching the live stream, but I'll tell everybody before I jump into it, and I'll say, hey, all right, I'm about to do this segment. Let me bang this out of the way, and then, you know, then I'll get back to chat afterwards, and we'll go back to talking and stuff like that. But and you know, I'll let everybody know that I'm about to do that. But it can be a little awkward at first if you're like, why is he saying bye to us all? So I have to fix something. I have to figure out what's going on with the chat for the horizontal version. Give me just 1 second. I gotta wrestle with something. Okay. What's up, Julie? How's it going? What's everybody up to tonight anyways, this Thursday? Yeah, that's not what I want. Cool glasses, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I wish my eyes worked. That'd be great. I wish I didn't need these things. That'd be much better. Trust me. It's gotten to the point now too where like I can't. There's no way I'm gonna like leave them somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I cannot function without them, which sucks because so I teach jujitsu, and when I have them off, I'm like looking around, and does anybody have any questions? And then I'm like, all right, you're gonna have to yell at me because I literally cannot see anybody in front of me, so that could be a little bit of a pain, but it's not that big a deal. They get freaking dirty a lot though, Carlos. I'll tell you that much. I feel like I'm constantly having to clean them. All right, so that's the vertical stream. Jesus. All right. All right. One now. Jiu-Jitsu Kaisen? Yeah. So I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've done it for about 20 years now. 20 years. 20. Shit. Actually, it'd be like 21 in January, I think. Yeah. Freaking sneaks up on you, I'll tell you that. Definitely sneaks up on you. All right. Enough messing with that. I can't figure it out. Jack, no idea, man. No idea what that says. No idea. Where's everybody from? You don't have to give me like a straight address. I'm just like looking for like what country. I wonder if I pop this. Okay. Have you ever heard of Murder Drone? Have you ever heard of Murder Drone? Like as in where you're from? You talking about where you're from right now? Referencing Murder Drone? Like I'm assuming that's like the only thing I can think of is the Ukraine. No, I haven't heard of that. Nope. Nope, I have not heard of that. Is it on Netflix? So so it seems like this is holding up fine, which is good. The only problem I'm having is YouTube and Amazon Prime. Nice. Sweet. I'll have to check it out, Jack, if you recommend it. If you recommend it, I'll check it out. I'm assuming that both of these streams are holding up okay. The only problem is I cannot actually see the live viewers of one of them. So I have no idea how many people are watching it horizontally and how many are you watching it vertically. And I'm assuming that the vertical chat is working. But if you're not watching it on your phone, you on a computer, if you could just shoot me a chat, that'd be great, so I could see if it's even working. Because I'm not sure. But yeah, so what's that about, Jack? What's that show about? Maybe you just popped in to plug a maybe you just popped in to plug a show. You're like, check out my show. See you later. I'm out of here. And I'm like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. That'd be some freaking viral marketing. Some bot marketing for you right there. Yeah, that's what I need. Maybe I need this bot network to just like pop into other people's streams. Pop into other people's streams and be like, hey, have you heard of this other stream? And then people will click on it and go over to mine. And I'll be like, hey, it worked. Success. So that's funny. All right, let me just prep the first topic here. It seems like there's quite a bit of a stream delay too, which I'm not really sure how to deal with that one, but that is pretty cool, you know? It's pretty cool that both of the versions are working. I just wish I knew that both the chats were working, because that's really the part that I care about the most. I don't really care about being able to monitor the views of the other stream, but if somebody chats to me, I want to make sure I don't miss it. So yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. That's interesting. Like I said, sorry again, I'm coming down with a cold, so my voice is a little you know. It's a little sus, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Turn the music back up a tiny bit. I feel like actually listening to something. There. And then I just got to remember to turn that off when I go to actually do the segment. Nice. Perfect. Just wait for a few to stream in here. Again, I had it set up. It's a nightmare, but I had it set up originally. 2 different streams. I had one scheduled to go live, and when it went live, it was like, you know, kind of a little bit of a mess. It didn't have the right settings, and so I had to do all that, pull it down, shenanigans. Yeah. So let's before we actually like go into before we go into the 2 topics, I think I want to talk about just something a little bit more general that's going on, and that would be Pete Hegseth's like speech to all the generals about changes to the military and whatnot. And really, I'm not really super focused on like, I guess what it really is like, I just feel like it's not really that crazy to want soldiers to be like in shape, you know? Like, why is that a thing that is even controversial? I mean, we want like everybody to be in shape, to be honest. Like firefighters, police officers, EMS, everybody should be in shape. Anybody that's got to like save my life or win a war for me, I'm really hoping that they're in shape. You know, I want them to be able to like jump over a barricade or whatever. And I kind of feel like the fact that people are like absolutely pitching a fit over him talking about like standards for health and fitness and performance for the military, and people are freaking out about that. It kind of like blows me away. You know what I mean? Like if I was obese, I wouldn't expect to be able to get into the military. You know, like I remember when at least the idea of boot camp and stuff was like freaking hard. Like you were supposed to sort of like do your own boot camp before you got to boot camp, you know? In order to like avoid getting your ass, you know, freaking just absolutely destroyed out there. JB, do I like cocaine? Wow, these are some real questions. I don't know, never done it. Do you like cocaine, JB? That's the real question. That's like the hard-hitting questions that we want to talk about. You know, do you like cocaine? The people want to know, JB, do you like cocaine? Love it. Nice. Nice. Where are you from, JB? I should try it. Is this your marketing pitch? Are you a dealer and you're like looking to get some more clientele from my fucking live chat? JB, what does it stand for? Juan the Baller? Slanging the coca? You be bling blinging, dripping in ice. Maybe I shouldn't say ice. Not when I'm talking. I should. Who knows who's listening? I shouldn't say the word ice when I'm talking to a guy named JB about cocaine. Hopefully you're behind a VPN. They're not good. Not good for your business, JB. No ice in paradise. Ah, yes. Right. Unless it's that crystal meth. That's the paradise. That's the Portland paradise. The old crystal meth Portland paradise. Where are you from, JB? This is fun. I think I get way more interaction from the vertical feed versus the traditional horizontal, which is pretty cool. I like that. That's pretty neat. Hopefully the other one's actually from Canada. Oh yes. Our lovely neighbor. I'm East Coast in the US. Oh, we'll say Northeast. I'm in the Northeast. So we get to visit with our Canadian friends every summer. You guys come down and come to our beaches and wear your Speedos and your hairy backs, a lot of body hair. Nah, Canadians are very polite though. Which is nice, unless it's like fake politeness. You know what I mean? Like the kind that like they say sorry for everything. Like I'll step on their foot by accident, and they're Italian, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Canadians are so polite though. Like you'll step on their toe, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry for hurting your foot," and I'm like, "I stepped on your toe. I should be apologizing to you. Sorry. Oh, sorry." What's that all about? What part of Canada? What's up, Maya? Hello, hello, hello. What's good? How goes it? Have a good evening. Where are you from? We got Canada in the house. I'm in the US. Where are you from, Maya? US. Nice. East Coast, West Coast, Central. Oh, you want to join us, JV? Is that now? I gotta ask. Do you want to join us because of your cocaine business that you've been trying to get up and going, and you feel like there's more clientele here, or is it more like our politics? Hell yeah, Boston. Yep, I'm in Northeast too, Maya. Born and raised. Yeah. I actually went to school in Boston for my first degree I got in Boston. That was a fun time. It was a fun time. Lots of nights down on Lansdowne Street. A lot of like nosebleed Red Sox games, way up in the freaking. I do the thing where you walk in and like man, they were like, I swear, of course this is a while ago, but they're like $9 a ticket or something like that. And I'd walk in and it would be like, do you have any tickets left? And they'd be like, yeah, these are, the game's already started. So they would give you this like really crazy discount. But it would be like behind a pole, you'd go in, and you'd be like, all right, sweet. Where's my seat? Where's my seat? Where's my seat? Oh, awesome. You sit down. It's just like a pole is like right here. And so, it's why nobody wanted it. But it's also why it was dirt cheap. So it was all good. No complaints there. Sorry. Again. My cold. All right. Time is it? 8:30. All right, let's roll into the next segment here. We'll roll into the next segment here. We definitely. Yeah, JB. So it would definitely hurt business. Canada's laws are so lax and our border is easily permeable. I want to join the U.S. so my children have a future, and I'd love to get away from the snow and move to Florida. Yeah, I was gonna say you have to go south to get away from the snow. But being from the Northeast, I also do not enjoy the snow. So I feel you. I feel you there. Now, I did live in Florida before, and I don't, to each his own, but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't live in Florida again. But, you know, if you're looking to do what you were talking about earlier, Florida's the Mecca. It's where the shipments come in. But yeah, seriously, I've been to Quebec. I think that's the only place in Canada. The only place in Canada I've been is Quebec, and it was old Quebec too. So that probably isn't like the same vibe as all of Canada, I would assume. But it was awesome. Like being there, it was kind of like going to Europe, to be honest. You know, like a little mini Europe trip. It was cool. Ah, Vancouver. You know, I actually think I heard that. What's Toronto like? Is Toronto decent, or is it a shithole now? Like, wasn't it one of the cleaner cities? At least that's what I thought. But then again, last time I heard that was a while ago. And no offense, I don't keep up on what's going on in Canada all that much. It's a hellhole? Nice. Well, shit. Then over in BC, you got like people getting eaten by bears and stuff. Getting eaten by some grizzlies. These things freaking terrify me. We have black bears where I am. We do not have brown bears or grizzlies. Thank God. Thank God. All right, let me kick it in over to the first topic here. So in a second, I'm gonna film this video, and then I'll get back to chatting with everybody. So this video is gonna be on this whole bullshit about manifesting your destiny. It's just gonna be a different way to look at it. You know, different way to look at it. With less like woo-wooey candles and crystals and rocks and stuff like that, you know? So it is what it is. Make sure the music's killed here. Wrote some notes to keep myself on track. Oh man, this cold's kicking my ass. All right, so let's kick things off with everything that everybody's been talking about lately. It's like the rage, manifestation, vision boards, manifesting the Lamborghinis, you know, all that stuff. Now I know when most people like hear that word manifestation, that's what they picture. Vision boards, chanting things, affirmations, rubbing crystals together and whatever, looking at the planets and seeing if they're in retrograde and whatnot, trying to attract things out of thin air, but I want to reframe it here. I want you to think of it a little bit differently. I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on it. I'm going to take a lot of the woo-wooey out of it. We're going to be a little bit more real talk. And I think it will align with a lot more people's views and understandings, okay? So manifestation is not magic, okay? You're not a witch. You didn't cast the hocus pocus freaking Chanel bag spell, okay? It's basically the same. This is how I want you to think of it. Manifesting is the same thing as YouTube's algorithm or Instagram or TikTok, but I'm just going to use YouTube since I'm on YouTube. I'll continue down that path because obviously if you guys are watching on YouTube, you're familiar with it. So think about it. YouTube doesn't care what you say you want. You could tell it, hey, I want to see fitness content, right? I want to see fitness content, YouTube. I want to get in shape. But if you keep clicking on fast food reviews at midnight, guess what? That's what YouTube is going to show you. It's going to keep feeding you those fast food reviews. It's going to show up in your homepage in that like For You section, right? It's because it takes cues from your behavior. It doesn't listen to what you're saying. So you can chant all you want about wanting to see fitness videos, but if you keep searching for junk food, that's what you're going to get. And life works the same way. The algorithm, let's just use that algorithm, right? The algorithm of your mind, your habits, your routines, it doesn't care about the vision you wrote down in a notebook or put on a vision board. Okay? It cares about what you feed it every single day. So if you say you want a stronger body, but you keep skipping the gym, you're training the algorithm to prioritize comfort over growth. If you say you want healthier relationships, but you keep chasing people who bring you chaos and drama, you're feeding your algorithm to expect more of the same. It doesn't care what you say. It really cares what you do. And if you think about your life as the YouTube homepage, you control what shows up there based on what you search. This is the same idea. And this is where people get frustrated. They'll say, I tried manifesting my destiny. It doesn't work. But what they actually did was wish for something. They were wishing for that future, that destiny, while feeding the algorithm the exact opposite. And just like YouTube, the system isn't broken. It's just following the data, okay? Like as a YouTube creator, everybody's always talking about the algorithm hacks, how to hack the algorithm, how to, get the algorithm on your side. Well, the algorithm is just the audience. YouTube's job is to put the video in front of people that want to watch the video. That's all it is. So if you make content that people want to watch, boom, the algorithm sends it to those people. So when we think about our control over our homepage, it is up to what we feed the algorithm. And if you're anything like me, sometimes you'll be like scrolling along or whatever, and you see a video and you're like, that looks really interesting, but I don't want to click on it because I also don't want to get flood. I don't want my home screen to get flooded with whatever this weird thing is. So like the curiosity makes me want to click it, but then at the same time, it's like, nope. I don't want to mess up my home feed. I don't want to deal with all that. So a lot of times I'll just scroll by it, or I'll have an alt account and I'll watch some of the weirder things on that. So that's why manifestation, it's really just about consistency. You don't just click on one video about discipline and suddenly your whole feed fixes itself, right? So let's say it was all just fast food reviews, and then you're like, nope, I'm ready to turn over a new leaf. David Goggins, discipline, how to not be a bitch. Enter. I can now run 100K marathons. No, that's not the way it works, right? So just because you search up that one thing that one time doesn't make your whole feed change overnight. It's the same in life. One good decision isn't enough. You need to keep feeding the system over and over until it learns this is what we're about now. Right? Well, shit. Okay, maybe I don't like fast food reviews. Maybe I'm hitting the gym. Maybe I'm running. You do it enough times and there's no maybe anymore. Your algorithm is now, no, we are a gym bro and we go running. That's what we do. And your algorithm feeds you more of that content because it knows what you're about. And this is where it gets uncomfortable because it forces you to look at what you've been telling yourself and what you've been telling the algorithm. If you look at your daily habits, your search history, your conversations, your thoughts, what story are they telling? Do they match the life you say you want? Or are they telling the algorithm something totally different? The takeaway here is simple. Manifestation is a math equation. You don't get what you hope for. You get what you feed it consistently. So I want you to ask yourself, what are you clicking on in life? What are you reinforcing day to day? And is that actually the life you want to manifest? Or is it just a distraction that keeps you accidentally subscribed? I think a lot of people don't ask themselves that enough. We just consume. We just consume. So let me throw it to you guys. What do you think you've been feeding your personal algorithm lately? And is it something you want more of? Or is it something you should probably unsubscribe from? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it, love to chat about it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Seth. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you're still doom scrolling, check out one of these videos over here because I'm sure it's right up your alley. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, chat. I'm back. That was that. What do you think? And what have you been feeding your algorithm? What have you been feeding your algorithm and what do you want to change? It's super important, And I've actually because I've been thinking about this idea for a little while. And I was like, I think I need to be more purposeful with the actual content that I consume, because I didn't think of it this way until somewhat recently, and it's probably something other people have thought of. So this isn't like, oh my God, I'm so smart. But I was just thinking to myself, when I'm like scrolling, or when I'm like looking up something on YouTube, excuse me, and I click it, and that video pops up, and they start talking to me, right? And they're like telling me whatever the video is about. It would be the same thing as if I just like opened my door and had a stranger come in off the street and tell me like what they thought about something, And I'm like, I wouldn't invite every single stranger off the street to come talk to me. I wouldn't want to hear some of their opinions, I just wouldn't care. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, I think I need to be a little bit more selective about the content that I consume, because every time I click a video, I'm inviting them into my space and into my life, and they're going to take up like whatever, 5, 10 minute and a half, whatever of my life. And sometimes those people aren't deserving of that, right? Especially where the algorithm lately really kind of feeds everybody anger and like rage and stuff like that. And so when I click on a video, my curiosity says, I wonder what this little bastard has to say. I know I don't like this person, but I'm going to click it and I'm going to see what they got to say. And then they make me mad, and now I'm mad and I have to deal with it. And it's like, why did I even do that to myself? I knew that video was going to make me mad. Why did I click on it? I just wasted 5 minutes and now I'm mad. So I'm really trying to like think about it from this, like what I'm feeding my algorithm. I'm trying to look at it the same way as I do YouTube. And I'm like, you know what? I don't click on certain videos because I don't want to mess up my algorithm. But I should also not click on certain videos because I don't want to mess up my algorithm. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. We all just have to be a little bit more. I think we got to just be a little bit more thoughtful on that. Yeah. Drop it in the chat. Also, please, if you have not already, please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel. I do live streams. Every single Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then I release one long form video each week. Kind of like what we just did. We talk about a topic or whatever. Jack's alt. Is this the Jack that was in here earlier? Are you coming back? The other guy was Jack Unknown, I think. And now you're Jack's alt. What's going on, Jack? What have you been up to? Again, I apologize. I got a little bit of a cold going on. What this is? Well, what do you think it is? It's an intervention, Jack. We're here to help you get your life together. We know what you did. We know. We saw that browser history, Jack. We know. The fuck you think is going on, man? You clicked on a live stream. You clicked on a live stream. We're chatting. We're hanging out. I just did a segment for a clip for my YouTube channel. Yeah. Yes, this is a psyop. Yeah. Yeah. This is actually one of those fake backgrounds, and I'm actually right outside your window live streaming. Yeah, I know. I know you were scrolling YouTube Shorts. That's why I streamed it to this. I knew you'd watch. Nah, just messing. Hope you are having a good night, though. What was the Vancouver thing you were talking about? One of the people were talking about. They're from Canada, and they were talking about the different cities like Vancouver and Toronto, and I've told him I've been to Quebec. I don't know if he's still here or not, but he wanted to go to. He's like saying he wanted to move to from Canada to Florida for the cocaine or something like that. And he was saying that Vancouver's like where all the cocaine comes in. I don't even know, or all the cocaine comes into Canada or something. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay. So yeah, it is a psyop. Because you're from Vancouver, aren't you, Jack? Uh, did you answer the page? Did he page you that your shipment was ready? I'm not aware of that guy. Are you aware of Premier Mike Rochburns in BC? The guy's drug policy is fucked. Nope. No, are you from Canada? I'm from the US. So I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to whatever is going on up north. All I know is winter is coming. I'm in the northeast of the US, so we're battening down the hatches. We're preparing, which is so unfortunate because I'm not a winter person, and for living in the freaking northeast, not liking winter, that's not ideal. Excuse me, sorry, I'm coming out with a cold right before winter. The foliage is starting to change here, though. It's a little bit of a weird foliage here, though, because like we did not have very much rain. Like there was quite a bit of a drought going on in my area, and I think it kind of really messed with the foliage. But yeah. I don't really know her either. From the Northwest? Like where in the Northwest? What? Wait, hold on. Back up. Tell me about this guy's drug policy. Why is it so fucked? I want to know. I want to learn. That's why I brought you on my live stream, Jack, so you could teach me. What's up, Herbie? The algorithm. We were just talking about the algorithm. Yes, it brought you here. Exactly as I planned. What's going on, anyways? What are you up to? You from the US? Where are you from, Herbie? Herbie Handplant? Munich. Ah, guten Tag. Germany. Nice. That's crazy. It's such a weird. It's like it just like blows my mind, but it's really cool at the same time. But it's so weird to think like I hit this button on my computer, boop, I go live, and somebody in Germany is watching me. Like that's so cool. Like I love it. Like it's such a cool. I don't know. You know, it's neat. It's late, can't sleep. Yep. Were you doom scrolling on shorts and then I popped up? I appreciate the watch for sure. Hopefully we can be entertaining here. Nice, cool. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here, Herbie, in a moment or two is I usually have 2 topics to chat about every live stream. I just did one of them, and now we're kind of shooting the shit for a little bit, and then I'll start up the other topic. And then what I do with those topics is I basically clip them and make them into a YouTube video to put on my actual YouTube channel. So when it comes time to chat about that, I'll let everybody know, like, hey, all right, I'm going to go do this thing real quick, and I'm going to ignore chat for a few minutes, and it's going to sound like I'm talking, talking to the camera or whatever. And then afterwards, I come right back and we chat. I mean, I actually don't go anywhere, but I'm not as interactive, So we just talked about the last topic that we just hit on was how this whole concept of manifesting something, I think it's definitely more something that women do. But you'll hear it, like manifesting your destiny, like manifesting that Lamborghini that you want, and etc. Well, I just talked about that, and I put it in a different format, different context, and I wanted people to think of it like it's the algorithm. Like your life has an algorithm, and what you put into the algorithm tells the algorithm what you want more of. So if you keep hanging around shitheads, they're going to introduce you to more shitheads. And then all your friends are going to be shitheads. And you're going to be like, why do my friends suck? That type of thing. So really kind of goes like hand in hand with like making good decisions. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. So yeah. Jack, I'm still waiting. I want to know what the drug policy is. That's that person. That's right. No other YouTuber worldwide. It's just me. Yeah, I unplugged everybody else. I was like, nope. I don't want to compete with you. I want everybody in Germany to listen to me. Stevie. Now. I mean, you can have some of those friends too, you know what I mean? Like, but even those friends lead to more of those friends, But yeah, hey, manifest it, Stevie. If you want it, manifest it. Hey, your English, I'm sure, is better than my German. That's for sure. Oh my God, I took 4 years of German in high school, and I mean, isn't the elbow like the Ellenbogen or something like that? Danke. But that's like shit that everybody knows. That's not like that's definitely not a flex after 4 years of German in high school. See? Yeah. Right? So if I ever go over to Germany, I know the word for elbow. So that's going to get me real far, It's going to get me real far. Stevie, where are you from? Look like a flag that you posted, but I don't really know where that flag is. Also, this chat is like so tiny. And even with my glasses on, I have to like put my nose to the screen. to see it. So Scotland. Ah, yes. You know, now your comment really makes sense. I totally feel like that is a comment that somebody from Scotland would make, you know? Just like every person from Scotland that I've ever met, which is not a lot of them, were definitely like the type of inappropriate that I enjoyed. Eh. Yeah, so some words sound the same in English and German. That's right. Correct. I'd love to go to Scotland. Nashville. Hell yeah. I've never been to Nashville either. I'm from Northeast. You know, been to like Florida, Georgia, oh, where else? Virginia, Carolinas, but never went over old Tennessee. Does it rain a lot in Scotland? It does, doesn't it? What are you up to tonight, Joe? Now, are you like in Nashville or are you just like, you know, kind of close to it? Yeah, yeah, Stevie, I thought it rained a lot over there, but I don't know. Do you get used to it? Playing music, Joe? Nice. Oh, okay. Nice. What? Well, I was gonna ask what type of music, but Nashville, I'm assuming country. Yeah, true, Herbie. Cliches are often very true. Yeah, there's at least some truth in them. You know what I mean? Like at least a little bit of truth to cliches and stereotypes for sure. What? Wow. It's not as bad as everyone thinks, but you do get used to it. I prefer the rain to the sun. Wow. I mean, so when I lived in Florida for a little bit, it was sunny all the time. And being from the Northeast, I, you know, like the four seasons and all that stuff. And so when it would be a cloudy day in Florida, I would actually enjoy it. I was like, oh, thank God I get a break from the sun. But now that I'm back up living where I live, I'm like, I feel like I could never get enough sun, you know? But it is what it is. Joey played jazz. All right. Like I said, I haven't been to Nashville. I know it's like a big music town, music city, but I just kind of assumed that it was mostly all country. But I would that doesn't surprise me at all that there's more to that, you know. How long you been playing jazz for? I mean, I don't want to I don't want to I don't want to flex on you, Joe, but I did play the saxophone in my high school band all 4 years. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you heard this song. It's When the Saints Go Marching In. I don't know if you've heard of that. Yep. I played a mean one. Herbie, you played saxophone too? Hell yeah. That's funny. Hey, just a couple of bros and our saxophones on a live stream, you know? Hey, see you, Stevie. Thanks for popping in. The algorithm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The algorithm. Absolutely. So, Joe, are you like playing in a little bit? Or are you on break or what? I wish I played it. If I could play an instrument, like if I had my pick, guitar would definitely be first. I bet that's like most people. Um, Guitar would be first, and then piano would be second. All right. Yep. Various bands, studio work. Sweet. My great grandmother played the harmonica, and she was from Kentucky, and it was really cool just to see her, like, 80 years old, just busting out a harmonica and going after it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, if I could do it all again, I would love to learn guitar, and then piano would be second, I think. Have you done any studio work with any bands that we would know? Excuse me. Yeah, yeah, Herbie, we should start a band. We should start a band, and we should all play our chosen instrument over the live stream. Gotcha. Yeah, Joe, I bet it takes like a little bit to sort of like build like a clientele and um I don't know, like clubs and stuff you can play at. You're good, Herbie. I know what you meant. That's hilarious. Open mics. Yep. I'm from a pretty small town, so we don't have a ton of open mics, but it's always enjoyable to go to one. It's like, I don't know, it's cool. So, Herbie, you have family in Texas? How did they end up there? Yeah. Yeah, I could see that, Joe. A lot of famous people. Have you ever thought about going up on the roof of one of the places and throwing a chair down? I hear that gets you on the news. Chuck a chair off the top of a famous bar. I don't know, might get people talking. And then if you get in trouble with the police, you could pull out your phone. You call Eric Church for help. If you don't know him, you'd get deported. uh, I guess only Morgan Wallen can do that. I guess he gets the pass of throwing chairs. Oh shit. Yeah, Herbie, how did your family get in Texas and you're in Germany? Oh, I'm assuming you're from Germany because you're talking about your English. Nagasaki? Oh, that's cool. I would get deported. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, let's not do that, Joe. Let's play it cool. Let's play it cool. Let's stick to more chill jazz music. Is it another true cliche that you find cool jazz and other underground clubs? Yeah, is there like an underground jazz community in Nashville? You know what I mean? Like, You find like these little hole in the wall places where the jazz is like really good. Because you're right, Herbie. That is actually what I like. That is kind of like what I picture in my head when I hear jazz. It's sort of like there's like busy, you're on the busy street, and there's like all these neon signs and stuff like that. And then there's like this little alleyway that has like a little stairwell that goes down, and then there's like this nondescript door, and you like knock on it, and like somebody lets you in, and like everybody is sipping martinis or old fashions, and then like it's like smoky, and there's like a lot of blue light, and then there's somebody playing jazz. That's what I picture. Please, Joe, tell me I'm correct. Of course I'm correct, right? How could I be wrong? Yes. See? I knew it. I knew it. I went to this crazy club once. And this is probably the farthest thing from a jazz club. This was in Ybor City in Florida. And it was this, it might be called like the church. I don't know. But it was a building that used to be a church, and they renovated it into this nightclub. And when you walk, yeah, Tampa, yeah, yeah, Ybor City, baby. And so when you walk in to this club, this church, it was like instantly like it's like so dark, so my eyes are like kind of getting used to it, and I go to pay whatever, the door fee, whatever it's called, and I look down, and the counter, like where I'm like standing, there's like a counter. It had like this channel like carved through like the length of this like probably fake wood countertop, and it had like this red liquid that looked like blood like going down through this channel, so like had like a stream of blood going down the counter. And I was like, oh, okay, where am I? Like, because I had never been there before. I was like, all right, where the heck am I? And then we go up the stairs and out onto like the, I guess you'd call it the dance floor. And it was exactly like you were at church, except all of the pews were gone, but the stained glass windows had like light coming in from the stained glass, which was really cool. And there was like still like the old like altar and all this crazy stuff. But then they had these pillars, and on top of the pillars were these like cages. And in the cages were people that were pretty much naked, just wearing these like little leather strap things. And they had like whips and shit. And it was like this, it was like a scene from the movie Blade, like at the rave. And I was like, holy shit, how many people in here are vampires? Like, that was my first thought. Everybody was dressed like that. Like, it was, I don't know if it was like goth or what, but everybody was dressed like that. And then there was me, who had a polo shirt on. I had a polo shirt on, and I think they were like tucked into my like, I don't even know. Like, I think I had jeans on, maybe khakis. I don't know. And it was like, man, I was in such a wrong spot, but everybody was cool. I just like stuck out like a sore thumb. For one thing, I'm from the Northeast. In this club I've never been to in Tampa, in Ybor City, and it's like everybody's pretending to be a vampire, and I have like a freaking Nike polo shirt on or something like that, you know? Yeah, techno is big over in Germany too, or like raves or whatever. I've been to some raves here as well, but that was funny. I didn't dress for the occasion, I guess. Like I forgot my leather and my whip at home. But that was cool. It's still a memory that I won't forget. Like it was original, you know? But yeah, like all the electronic scene was huge over in Europe and Germany and stuff like that. They kind of cracked down on that. Like I remember like Vice did like a documentary and stuff on it, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like the what they call them, like those raves that would just sort of like pop up. You know, they'd like send out a message to everybody, and then like you know, a few hours later, everybody would meet at the abandoned building, and then like boom, a rave would happen. You skateboarded? Yeah, skateboarding and a snowboard teacher. That's freaking sweet. I've tried snowboarding before. I won't say I was good at it, like I ever got good at it. I got okay at it. I have stepped on a skateboard a couple times in my life and almost ended my life as soon as I stepped on it. So skateboarding was not for me, but I have a lot of respect for anybody that skates and like got good at it, because holy shit, you're pretty much just like assuming and okay that you're going to break a lot of bones while you get good at skateboarding. Like you got to want it, you know what I mean? Like you got to want it. Which is cool. I never wanted it. I stepped on that thing and it was like, pew! And I was like, okay, I could definitely kill myself on this thing. Oh, no kidding. That's cool. Skateboarding's huge in Japan, huh? That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. See, like, it's probably like where everybody grew up, but like, and depending on how old you are too, but when I was growing up, it was very hard for skaters to skate anywhere because everybody thought that they were all just like troublemakers, and you know what I mean? And so, like, in order to skateboard, you kind of had to like do it in these like hidden settings and stuff. I don't know if it's still that way or if there's just like more actual skate parks now for people. Like if you were like, I don't know, like if you were like, I want to get into skating, like, are there places where you could just go now, you know? I gotta blow my nose. Pardon me. All right. Sorry about that. That's cool. Olympic Games, Japanese samurai discipline is another true cliche. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of cliches are, you know, they're cliches, generalizations, you know, things like that. A lot of times there's a reason why they became as popular as they did, you know what I mean? Oh, that's cool, Joe. Several river walks. That's cool. Oh yeah. Some of the tricks that people can do on skateboards is like mind blowing. Especially if they don't have like a foam pit and stuff to practice in. It's like when they're like trying to get good at like doing the rails down like a set of stairs, like, oh man, like you're in for some pain, you know, while you're like getting good at it. Because at first, you suck. Everybody sucks at everything, except when you fall off a skateboard, it fucking hurts. And so when I see these people that like got good at jumping rails and doing all this crazy stuff, I know that they like put in, like, not only put in the time, but like put in the pain. You know, they literally put in the pain. Yeah. Along the Cumberland. I'm assuming that's a river. So, Joe, do you have to work tonight, like later or whatever, like doing music stuff, or are you off for the night? Excuse me. You do have to work. I was good in the vert transitions, but you have to learn minimum 1 to 2 new tricks to get a pro sponsorship. Uh, like 1 to 2 new tricks, like at all, or like often. You know what I mean? To get that pro sponsorship, 10 to 12. 1 to 2 per week. 1 to 2 new tricks per week. Dang. Like, is there that many tricks? You know? Shit. So 10 to 12 a.m. tonight, Joe? Is it going to be a good, is it like, let's see, it's a Thursday, but like, isn't Nashville like always popping? Like, isn't everybody partying like all the time? So will that be a, you know, typical crowded night, or is 10 to 12 on a Thursday like dead? Yeah, that is a lot of tricks to learn, Herbie. Like, that is a lot. But you could see how that's like always like pushing people to invent. You know what I mean? It's like pushing the sport forward because of that pressure, I bet. Franklin, south of Nashville. Nice. So what are you expecting for a crowd? Like, good one, good crowd, average, dead, you know? What do you think? Wow, 75 to 100. Broadway downtown open. 75 to 100 still seems like a, I mean, again, I'm from a small town, but 75 to 100 on a Thursday, 10 to 12 at night seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Now I forget, did you say that was like open mic? Like, do you have to share this time slot with people, or is it just you, you know, like in your band or whatever? Cool. Nice. So how many excuse me. How many like how many jazz songs do you need to have like in your rotation to fill up a time slot like that? Like a 2 hour time slot. Like, cuz jazz songs are kind of long, right? Or or do you not even really play songs? Like, you just sort of like freestyle, you know what I mean? Like, jazz is different. I 25. Okay, yeah. I can never tell because I don't know jazz. So when I hear jazz, I can never really tell. Is it like, are they just like, is there a beginning and an end to a song? It almost seems like controlled chaos, to be honest, when I'm listening to jazz. So I don't know like what's on purpose. Like if they were to play the song again, would it sound exactly the same? You know what I mean? From the real book? Is that the jazz Bible? I never heard of that. Ballads from the real book. Hell yeah. That's cool. So before I like so I own excuse me, I own a couple businesses now, but before I was in physical therapy, and it was so like part of my the thing that I loved the most about that job was I got to meet all these people and ask them about their stories and like their life and get to hear things like about jazz, you know, like I don't know jazz, so excuse me, if I was like working with a patient and they were a jazz musician, I could just sit there the whole time and just chat with them about jazz. And then, I don't know, they get to talk about what they like. And I walk away from the conversation knowing a little bit more about the topic. It was cool. Um, okay. So the tune is the same, improvising changes. And the real book is the Bible of jazz. All right. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering because like whenever I hear somebody play jazz, it's like it's all it's all over the place. And a lot of times like I'm not even sure I would like hear the I don't know. You know how in other geez, I'm not really good with music, but you know how in other genres of music, like the chorus or whatever like repeats. When I listen to some people playing jazz, and of course, like I'm like usually talking and stuff, I'm not like solely focused on them playing, but it doesn't really sound like anything repeats, you know, like, oh, it's that part again, you know, like I don't really hear that. Jazz has a huge range. It's weird when it's freestyle. I like more of a clear, okay, yeah, all right, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. It is like a freestyle. It's like a jazz is like a rap battle with a saxophone, you know what I mean? It's rap battling. All right, so I'm going to get ready to jump into this next topic. So this is one of those just to let you guys know if you weren't here. So what I'm going to do here in a second is I'm going to pull up my notes for this next topic that I want to talk about, and I'm going to minimize chat so I won't see you guys for a few. But then I'm going to talk to the camera about the topic, and there's going to be like an intro and an an outro to the clip. And then afterwards, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I basically will take that clip, I'll clip it, and then I will upload it as its own video. So I'm gonna do that, and then after the part where I'm talking, when I get back to the chat, I'd love to hear what you guys think about it, you know, and see what you guys have to say. So this one. This one's basically like a society type thing, and like where we're at in the world, I guess. You know, like maybe this will resonate more with U.S. people, but I think just in general, this is something I've noticed. So take a sip of my protein shake. All right. So I heard Joe Rogan say something one time, and it really stuck with me. And it's kind of weird because I've watched a lot of his podcasts and I've listened to countless interviews with him, but this one thing really stuck with me, and I don't know if it's because of what I'm doing now with this YouTube stuff that it kind of like resurfaced. But he was talking about his post-fight interviews in the UFC. And in how he made the point that he never lets the fighters hold the microphone. Why? Because once they take it, he loses control. He loses the control of the interview. And if you've ever seen fighters after a fight, they're not exactly the most calm and coherent person to be ranting and raving and rambling on a microphone, right? Sometimes they're like half concussed, they're bleeding, they're swearing, they're saying all sorts of things. And they're not in the calmest, clearest state of mind. And I thought about that for a while because it's such a simple rule. Don't give away the mic unless you're ready to lose control. And it hit me. Somewhere along the way in our culture, we gave the wrong people the microphone. Think about it. Who has the mic right now? Who has control of the microphone right now? It's usually not the people with wisdom or experience. It's always the ones who are the loudest, the most outrageous, the most extreme, or just flat out the most entertaining. The people who figured out that if you shout enough, cry enough, stir up enough drama, the microphone will come to you. And the scary part is, once they've got it, they shape the narrative. They set the tone for how people think about relationships, masculinity, success, even basic decency. And just like in the cage, once you've handed over that microphone, it's almost impossible to take it back. Look at social media. Who gets the biggest platforms? Usually not the ones encouraging men to build discipline, integrity, or real community. It's the clowns, the manipulators, the Andrew Tates, the fake alphas, the ones selling the shortcuts, pushing the outrage or the fantasies. The microphone's been handed to people who don't actually care about truth. They just care about attention. And then regular people sit back and wonder, why does it feel like society is going off the rails? Well, because the people with the microphone are driving the conversations in that direction. The audience doesn't always realize that they're not just listening, they're being steered. So the real question becomes, why did we let it happen? Why did we hand over the microphone in the first place? Part of it's laziness. It's easier to watch a circus. I hate to even call it that. It's easier to watch a circus than to think deeply. Part of it is distraction. If someone is loud enough, they drown out the voices that actually matter. And part of it is a lot of us gave up our own mic without realizing it. But here's the truth. You don't have to keep listening. You don't have to let the wrong people hold the mic in your life. You can choose to follow different voices. You can surround yourself with people who actually know what they're talking about, who live what they preach. You can also choose to take a step up, step forward, and take your own mic back. Whether it's in your family, your community, or even just your group of friends, your microphone should stay in your control. Meaning, don't hand your microphone to somebody that you don't want to hear what they have to say. Don't even give them the chance. And I know this sounds like very political, but I'm not even really talking politics right now. I'm just talking about who represents me and you. And they're getting harder and harder to find. Again, because if you wouldn't hand that microphone to a dazed fighter after 3 rounds of war with a broken nose and a missing tooth and blood all over his face, why are you handing it to celebrities and influencers? And opportunists who haven't even earned it? Maybe it's time to start talking. Maybe it's time to start taking the microphone back. One conversation at a time. So let me ask you guys. Who do you think has the mic right now in our culture that absolutely shouldn't? And who do you think deserves a bigger platform instead? And I think I would take it a step further when I ask you. Please comment this below because I'd love to chat more about it. I think right now an answer that's political would be very easy. I think I want to go a little deeper than that. I think I want to talk about just like society and culture, not political sides and political figures. I think that that's just surface fluff. It's too easy. Let's think deeper. So with that in mind, again, who do you think has the mic right now in our culture that absolutely shouldn't? And who do you think should have the microphone going forward? Who should we be hearing more of? Who should have a bigger platform that currently doesn't? Comment it. I'd love to read it. Love to chat about it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Seth. If you got something out of this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Really helps the channel out a lot. And if you're still doom scrolling, check out one of these videos over here because I'm sure it's right up your alley. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, chat. That was my second serious portion. So yeah, again, on these live streams every Thursday, 8 p.m., like and subscribe. I have 2 topics that I like to hit on. We'll chat with people, talk about all sorts of stuff, jazz and whatnot. But then I have 2 topics that I usually will hit just like I just did. And then I clip those into videos that I put onto my my actual main, well, it's this channel, but it's a long form content, not live streams. So, yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. Seth Rogen. Oh, MMA is getting huge. MMA, I hate, like, I'm definitely not one of those fans where I'm like, I was an MMA fan before MMA was cool, you know? But I've been watching since, I think maybe it was like UFC 30 or somewhere between 30 and 40, somewhere in there. It was like right before, thanks, Herbie. I appreciate the subscribe. I appreciate it. I actually broke 1,000 subscribers this week, which is pretty awesome because that was my first milestone. So I've only been doing this since March, I think, is when I put out my first video. So I hit 1,000 subscribers. What day was that? Monday or Tuesday, I think. I don't know. It wasn't that long ago, but it was a cool milestone. So yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. But yeah, so I started getting into MMA when I think it was like George St. Pierre was just coming on the scene and he was kind of rising up through, and he was going against Matt Hughes and all that stuff. That was a cool time in MMA. And I definitely am not like saying that, oh, the MMA then was better. It's just different. Like, it was already starting, and honestly, I think that George St. Pierre kind of put the nail in the coffin. But it's basically like, back then you really would see these like style versus style matchups, and now everybody is good at everything, you know? So it's like, I think it comes down more to athleticism of the fighter versus like what style they have, like, just generally. Excuse me, sorry about that. Just generally speaking, of course, like, it's more than that. I'm not downplaying it at all and not taking anything away from it. It was just really cool, like, back in the day, because you could see like different styles. Like, oh, this person is a jiu-jitsu fighter and they are going to fight like a jiu-jitsu fighter. This person is a karate fighter, and when you see them in the cage, they're gonna fight like a karate fighter, and you got to see how those styles clash together. Now it's totally understandable, but everybody is good at everything that matters, so you don't get to see that like expression as much, you know? But Herbie, what do you do for like work? Do you have to get up in the morning and go to work? Oh yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know, masculinity. Excuse me, masculinity needs a rework, and mostly it's because, like, when you're saying that, I appreciate that. I'm very friendly. There are too many hardliner streamers out there, and I think what you mean is like fake tough guys type of deal. And I think that's one way, like, a lot of these male streamers are like kind of like trying to stand out. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to stand out and make a name for themselves by being so alpha and so tough. But I think that that's also kind of wearing off. I think people are kind of like, the pendulum swung too far one way, and now it's kind of coming back the other way, where it's completely fine for a dude just to be normal, you know, and not need to be rah 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 all the time, you know. It doesn't make any sense, but I think that's how they're trying to stand out. You know what I mean? Like, I keep saying Andrew Tate, but it's not just Andrew Tate, but it's like he is the picture of what I'm talking about. Just that kind of very bold, very brash, very aggressive, you know. Yeah, wannabe gangsters. Dude, the fake alpha space is hilarious. Like, there's so many fake alphas out there that, like, I watched this guy called American Thor, and he has a YouTube channel called American Thor, but he also has another YouTube channel called Valhalla VFT, I think. And his American Thor channel, he like is just going after all of these fake alphas and exposing them, and it's really funny. It's really funny because I don't know, like I'm also like I'm too old to like be looking up to any man, really. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, hey, you do you, I'll do me. But like when you're an impressionable young man, like 20, you're kind of looking for that role model figure, and you're like, who should I be? Who should I grow up to be? And then you're like looking around and you're like, it'd be cool to be Andrew Tate, you know? And it's like, once you hit a certain age, you're not really like, I'm already grown up. I'm not going to grow up and be anybody. I'm me. So then you can look at those fake alphas as who they really are. And it's so shallow and fake, super fake. Fake cars. They don't own the cars. They don't own the planes. They don't own the jewelry. They live with their mom. Like, it's crazy, but it's a pretty cool world to like kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and take a peek at, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Interesting topic to hear life on air. Here's what's going on in the States. Yeah. Yeah. I like my channel. Like if you look at my channel, um, most of my channel is about like self-improvement type of stuff, but not the type of stuff that's like, you know, it's not like work harder, you bitch. Like you whip yourself every morning. If you're not waking up at 2 a.m. to run 5 miles, you're a little pussy. No, it's like kind of just ways to like think about your life, you know? Like spend time thinking about your life and what you want out of your life. And I think a lot of people don't do that. So yeah, when you watch my long form videos, that's like a lot of what it's about, you know? So I would say it's all positive stuff. For a while when I first got on here, I was doing like for the live streams, I didn't know what to do for the live streams. I was like, what do I want to talk about? You know, what's interesting? And so I was like reacting to videos, you know, but I didn't know what videos to react to fit my kind of my category of what I'm all about. And so it ended up being kind of negative, and I didn't really care for it all that much. So this excuse me, this format seems better. What's my opinion about the vibe in the USA if it's so split up like I hear in the like New York Times and stuff like that? I think that the media wants you to think that the country is super divided. But I think if you went down to the store and asked people what they thought of what was going on, I think the majority still is with the president. I think the majority still supports the president and what he's doing. Because you'll hear about, huge Antifa riot in Portland, Oregon, you know, and the news will blow it up or whatever. But if you, with the internet now, you can just watch live streams of people at the riot and see exactly what's going on, you know? And so you look and you're like, oh, it's really just like maybe 100 people and they all look fucking weird, you know? So like, I'm not even saying like, oh, I'm one way or the other. I'm just talking about how like the media will make you think that it's super split and everything's chaotic. But when you actually watch live stream footage from one of these like protests, it's really not that many people. and it looks like a bunch of fucking losers that like aren't really doing anything with their life anyways. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I think the average person's just going to work and trying to survive and may not even care a whole lot about all these things that the news is like really pushing and blowing up. You know what I mean? That's just my take on it. But I think it really depends on where you live too, you know? But I think the majority of the country is either like, you know, not indefinite, indifferent. They're either indifferent to it, kind of like meh, or still slightly on the side of the president. Yeah, no, it's all right. Yeah. Politics are super, you know, polarizing, you know, just like religion. I actually did a video. It was called I think it's called The Othering of America. And it kind of talked about how humans in general just break down into tribes naturally. You know, it's like it was like an evolutionary trait that helped us survive. You know, we're like hacking through the jungle or whatever, and we come up over a ridge and we see a person we've never seen before, and our brain needs to instantly go, that's not Bob from the tribe, that's somebody else. And back then, somebody else could kill you, they could take your shit, they could follow you back to your tribe and kill you and rob you back there. So this whole like, our brains were wired to pick up those differences very quickly in other, you know, other people besides our little small tribe. And it's in our nature to do that to this day. And you see it in sporting things. Like I'm sure soccer or football, I guess, over there. I mean, think of how many people and massive fights have happened after a soccer game. It's a sport, you know what I mean? But people will be like, oh, it's those other fans. Those other fans, they're not like us. They're different. Those other fans, you know? And so now we see that in politics. And it's the same thing. And that's all it is, you know? Everybody's like really wound up and wanting to point the finger at the other, whatever group that they have deemed as other, you know? And I think in that video, I actually said that I think in the US that politics has replaced religion for a lot of people, for better or worse, because it's like, yeah, hooligans, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it could, like, if you look at a lot of things and if you compare a religion to a political ideology, there is a lot of similarity. A lot. Both are very powerful, very convincing. They give you a feeling of belonging, you know what I mean? Like, just all of it. It's crazy. Maybe I'll actually do a video specifically breaking down that like kind of relationship between politics and religion and how they're kind of the same, you know? It's just you take out, well, geez, I mean, if you look at it like, so here's like the kind of interesting part, right? So we have the right and the left of political parties. And on the right, like that can still be their religion, but I think a lot of people on the right already have a religion, right? They already have like Christianity. I guess you'd say like Christianity is the religion of the right. And then on the left, the left doesn't really have a religion, or at least not one agreed upon religion, right? Like maybe there's a lot of religions, there's like spirituality, or there's just like atheism and all that stuff on the left. So I think that's another reason why the left it has become maybe so intense, because it's easier for politics to be their religion than on the right. But even on the right, like the religion of the right, it's like, you know, the main figure is the president and people follow him like he's Jesus or whatever, you know? Yeah. Throw on a headset. Yeah. And you're like, and now what's happening in Germany? And then, you know, you could go there. You can go live. Yeah. So, yeah. So like on the right, the politics is like, it gets heated and everything, but they still have a default religion to fall back on, which is Christianity. And then on the left, there isn't a default religion, but so then when it gets heated, it's like a little bit, it gets a little bit crazier. And it's definitely like, I need to think about that. I need to think that thought through more so I can have more examples. But like religion gives people such a sense of meaning, you know what I mean? And like, if you think about it, if we want to like sort of like parallel it a little bit, okay, so religion will give you this sense of like you need to do this thing or something really bad is going to happen. Like you need to be a good citizen and not murder people and commit sins, or your soul is going to burn in hell for eternity, right? So there's like, you need to do this thing or else this really bad thing is going to happen. If we look at some political rhetoric, it's the same thing. They put forth this extreme thing that you need to do, and if not, like, society is going to collapse. The end of democracy, the end of the United States. Like, so it's like, do this thing or this really bad consequence is going to happen. Very similar to religion. Very similar. But yeah. Nice. Well, all right, man. I am going to sign off because it's actually kind of getting a little bit late here tonight, and I already made my two videos for the night. So thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe. I drop one long form video every week, a lot of clips, and we go live on this live stream every week, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, catch you all later. See ya.